There was a woman, strong, bold, and unshaken. She did not fit in with the crowd. She didn't walk in step with the world's rhythm. Others whispered, "She's different." They misunderstood her, questioned her, even abandoned her. But she kept walking, and as she walked, doors that no one else saw began to open. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something today. The chosen woman, she is mocked, she is anointed, and because of that, she will often walk alone. A chosen woman does not live an ordinary life because she does not carry an ordinary purpose. She is set apart, designed for something greater than herself, and because of that, she feels the weight of her calling pressing upon her soul. It is not a burden that crushes, but a fire that refines. It is the quiet whisper in her heart that tells her she was made for more, that she cannot settle, that she must keep pressing forward even when no one understands the journey she walks. From the moment she realizes she is chosen, everything changes. She cannot go where everyone else goes. She cannot do what everyone else does. While others are content with mediocrity, something inside of her refuses to stay still. There is a restlessness in her spirit because she knows she is called to something higher. But that calling comes with a price. She will feel the sting of isolation. She will experience seasons where no one truly understands her, where even those closest to her may question her choices. She will have moments where she wonders if she is on the right path, because the road she walks is often lonely. But deep inside, she knows she cannot turn back. She cannot deny the pull of destiny. She cannot ignore the voice that tells her to keep moving forward. The chosen woman carries a vision that others may not see. She is driven not by the applause of the world, but by the voice of God speaking into her soul. And because of that, she will often walk alone. She will be misunderstood, criticized, even rejected. But rejection is not her enemy, it is her refining. Every step of solitude strengthens her. Every challenge shapes her. Every moment of doubt pushes her deeper into the presence of God. Look at the great women of faith, the ones who changed history. They all walked through seasons of loneliness. Esther stood alone before the king. Ruth walked away from everything familiar. Mary bore a calling that no one else could comprehend. They carried the weight of their purpose, but they did not let it break them. A chosen woman does not chase after comfort. She does not seek validation from the crowd. She knows that what God has placed inside her is too important to be diluted by the opinions of others. She understands that the weight she carries is not meant to crush her, but to prepare her for the doors she will one day walk through. So she keeps walking, even when the road is uncertain, even when the silence feels heavy, even when she is tempted to turn back, because she knows her purpose is greater than her pain, and the weight she carries today is only making her strong enough for the victory that lies ahead. A chosen woman does not seek the approval of the world because she knows her calling comes from a higher authority. She is not driven by applause, compliments, or recognition. Her purpose is not rooted in popularity, but in divine assignment. And because of that, she will often find herself standing alone, misunderstood, and even rejected. But she does not waver, she does not shrink back. She knows that obedience to God is worth more than the fleeting approval of man. The world rewards conformity. It celebrates those who follow trends, who fit in, who mold themselves to the expectations of others. But a chosen woman cannot do that. She cannot compromise her values to be liked. She cannot water down her purpose to be accepted. She was not called to blend in, she was called to stand out. And standing out comes with a cost. It means being talked about. It means being criticized. It means making choices that others don't understand. There will be moments when the pressure to please people becomes overwhelming. The temptation to take the easy road, to go along with the crowd, will be strong. But she knows that choosing the approval of man over the calling of God leads only to emptiness. She understands that popularity is temporary, but purpose is eternal. She refuses to exchange her destiny for the applause of those who do not see the vision God has placed inside her. Look at the great women in history: Esther, Ruth, Deborah, Mary. Not one of them was praised by the world when they first stepped into their calling. Esther risked everything to go before the king. Ruth left behind her homeland to walk into the unknown. Deborah led when women were expected to be silent. Mary carried a promise that others mocked and misunderstood. They did not choose the easy path. They chose the path of obedience. And because of that, their names are remembered not for being popular, but for being faithful. A chosen woman must decide what matters most, pleasing people or fulfilling her purpose. She must understand that when she follows God's call, not everyone will support her. Some will criticize her, some will walk away, some will try to convince her that she is making a mistake. But she cannot let the opinions of others determine her destiny. She must stand firm even when she stands alone. There will be seasons when she feels isolated, when the path ahead seems unclear, when the approval she longs for does not come. But in those moments, she must remember she is not called to be understood. She is called to be faithful. She is not called to be liked. She is called to be set apart. And when the noise of the world fades, when the voices of others grow silent, she will hear the only voice that matters. The voice of the one who called her, the voice of the one who chose her, the voice of the one who will never leave her side. A chosen woman does not step into her destiny without first walking through a season of separation. Before she can lead, she must be set apart. Before she can carry the weight of her calling, she must be strengthened in solitude. This is not punishment, it is preparation. It is in the quiet, in the hidden places, that God does His greatest work in her life. Separation is not easy. It is painful to leave behind the familiar, to walk away from comfort, to feel the weight of isolation. But she understands that she cannot grow in places that no longer serve her purpose. She cannot move forward while holding on to things that keep her bound. God removes certain people, certain habits, and certain distractions, not to harm her, but to make room for something greater. Every woman chosen by God has walked this path. Before Esther became queen, she was set apart in the palace, going through a season of preparation before she could step into her assignment. Before Ruth walked into her blessing, she had to leave her past behind and journey into the unknown. Before Mary carried the promise, she had to walk through the silence of being misunderstood. Their separation was not rejection, it was refinement. God was molding them, shaping them, and making them ready for what was coming next. A chosen woman must embrace this season instead of resisting it. She must recognize that when God pulls her away from the crowd, He is drawing her closer to Him. When doors close, when friendships fade, when the path narrows, she must trust that it is all part of the process. She is not being abandoned, she is being prepared. This is where faith is built. This is where character is strengthened. This is where she learns to rely not on the approval of others, but on the voice of God alone. The world may not see what is happening, but deep within, something powerful is taking place. Roots are growing stronger. Her spirit is being fortified. Her purpose is being sharpened. When the time comes, she will emerge different, stronger, wiser, and ready. She will no longer seek validation from the world because she has already been affirmed by God. She will no longer hesitate in fear because she has been trained in the secret place. And when she finally steps into the fullness of her calling, she will realize that every moment of separation was necessary. The waiting, the loneliness, the breaking, it was all part of the process. Because when God sets a woman apart, it is never to diminish her. It is to prepare her for something so great that she could not have carried it in her former state. And when the time is right, she will step forward, not as who she was, but as who she was always meant to be. The anointing is a gift, but it comes with a cost. A chosen woman is not just given favor without first being tested, refined, and proven. The anointing on her life sets her apart, but it also sets her up for trials that others do not have to face. The greater the calling, the greater the battles. The heavier the anointing, the higher the price. She will face rejection, not because she is unworthy, but because she carries something that others cannot comprehend. The people she thought would support her may be the first to doubt her. Friends may walk away, family may misunderstand, and the world may resist her. But she must not let this shake her. It is not a sign of failure. It is confirmation that she is walking in divine purpose. Those who carry a mighty calling often walk through seasons of deep loneliness, not because they are abandoned, but because God is protecting them from distractions and preparing them for something greater. She will endure opposition. The enemy does not attack what does not threaten him. The moment she begins to step into her purpose, obstacles will arise. Doors may close, battles may rage, and storms may come, but she must remember, this is not punishment. It is preparation. God does not call without equipping. Every hardship, every setback, every tear she sheds is shaping her, strengthening her, and refining her for the journey ahead. She will experience crushing. Just as olives must be pressed to produce oil, an anointed woman must go through seasons of breaking before she can fully walk in her calling. She will have moments where she feels overwhelmed, where the weight of her purpose seems too heavy to bear. But it is in these moments that she must remember God is not breaking her to destroy her. He is breaking her to build her. He is pressing her, molding her, and transforming her into the woman He created her to be. She will be called to obedience when it is not convenient. The anointing demands sacrifice. She will have to let go of certain relationships, walk away from certain opportunities, and say no to things that others say yes to. She will have to trust God even when she does not understand. But obedience always leads to blessing. When she chooses purpose over comfort, she will see doors open that no one else could open. When she chooses faith over fear, she will step into places that others never imagined. The cost of the anointing is high, but the reward is greater. She may walk through fire, but she will not be consumed. She may be tested, but she will not be defeated. The journey may be painful, but the purpose is worth it. And when she looks back, she will realize that every tear, every battle, and every sacrifice was shaping her into the woman she was always meant to become. A chosen woman must learn to walk alone, not because she is forsaken, but because solitude is where God strengthens her. It is in the quiet places, away from the noise and distractions, that she discovers who she truly is. She may feel isolated, misunderstood, or even forgotten, but she is not abandoned. She is being set apart, molded, and prepared for something far greater than she can see. Solitude is not emptiness. It is refinement. It is in the lonely seasons that she learns to rely on God alone. When no one is there to encourage her, she learns to encourage herself. When no one understands her vision, she leans on the one who gave it to her. When the world turns away, she realizes that God has never left her side. The strength she gains in solitude is not temporary. It becomes the foundation upon which she will stand for the rest of her life. Every great woman of purpose has walked this path. Esther spent time in preparation before she became queen. Ruth had to leave behind everything she knew to step into her destiny. Hannah wept in silence before God gave her Samuel. Their moments of solitude were not setbacks. They were setups for something greater. They were being strengthened in the secret place so they could stand firm when their time came. Solitude teaches a woman to hear the voice of God more clearly. When the opinions of the world fade, when the expectations of others no longer weigh her down, she begins to discern what truly matters. She no longer seeks validation from people because she has already been validated by the one who called her. She no longer fears standing alone because she has learned that she is never truly alone. The world often sees solitude as a weakness, but in reality, it is a place of transformation. It is where character is built, where wisdom is gained, and where faith is deepened. A woman who has walked through seasons of solitude comes out unshakable. She does not crumble under pressure because she has already faced battles in the secret place. She does not fear rejection because she has already learned that her worth is not defined by others. She does not waver in her calling because she has spent time alone with the one who gave it to her. There will be moments when the silence feels heavy, when the journey seems endless, when the desire for companionship tempts her to settle for less than what she deserves. But she must remember, God is not punishing her, He is positioning her. Every step she takes alone is a step closer to purpose. Every tear she sheds in solitude is watering the ground for the harvest that is to come. A chosen woman does not fear solitude. She embraces it. She knows that in the quiet, in the stillness, in the waiting, she is being strengthened for something greater than she could ever imagine. A chosen woman does not walk her path for herself alone. Every step she takes, every trial she endures, every battle she overcomes becomes a testimony that inspires others. She may not realize it in the moment, but her faith, resilience, and unwavering obedience to her calling are lighting the way for those who come after her. Her walk is not just about her destiny, it is about the lives she will impact along the way. People are always watching, even when she feels unseen. There are those who see her strength in the midst of struggle, her endurance in seasons of waiting, her courage when she stands alone. They may never say it out loud, but they are taking notes. They are drawing strength from her perseverance. They are finding hope in her faith. What she carries is not just for her, it is for the next generation, for the women who need proof that they too can rise above their circumstance. Her life becomes a testimony, not because she has had an easy journey, but because she has walked through the fire and did not let it consume her. She has faced rejection, but she did not let it define her. She has experienced loss, but she did not let it break her. She has been overlooked, misunderstood, and underestimated, but she did not let it stop her. Instead, she kept walking, knowing that her story was being written not just for herself, but for others who needed to see that survival is possible, that breakthrough is real, and that obedience to God always leads to victory. There are young women who need to see that it is possible to walk away from the crowd and still be strong. There are mothers who need to know that their sacrifices are not in vain. There are daughters who need to understand that their worth is not defined by the world, but by God alone. When a chosen woman walks boldly in her purpose, she gives others permission to do the same. She does not need a platform or a title to inspire. It is not her words that change people, it is her walk, the way she carries herself, the way she trusts God in uncertainty, the way she refuses to compromise her values. These are the things that leave a lasting impact. She may never hear the words, "You inspired me," but one day someone will step into their calling because they watched her step into hers. A chosen woman's journey is never just about her own success. It is about the seeds she plants along the way, the legacy she leaves behind, the lives she touches without even realizing it. Her strength, her faith, her unwavering determination become a beacon of hope for those who are searching for their own path. And long after she has walked her road, the footsteps she left behind will continue to lead others toward their destiny. A chosen woman walks a path unlike any other. She carries a divine calling that demands separation, refinement, and unwavering faith. Her journey is not meant to be easy, but it is meant to be purposeful. The weight of her anointing comes with a cost, but every trial, every moment of solitude, and every sacrifice is shaping her for something greater. She does not seek the approval of the world because she knows her validation comes from God alone. She embraces the seasons of isolation, knowing they are not meant to break her, but to build her. And as she walks, sometimes in silence, sometimes in struggle, her journey becomes a testimony. She may not always see the impact, but her faithfulness is inspiring others to rise. Her endurance is giving hope to those watching from the sidelines. Her unwavering commitment to her calling is lighting the way for generations to come. Though the road may be lonely, she is never truly alone. God walks with her, strengthening her, guiding her, preparing her for the doors she will one day step through. And when she finally reaches the place she was destined to be, she will understand that every tear, every sacrifice, and every battle was worth it. She was never just walking for herself. She was walking for all those who would follow.